The Global Latin Factor Podcast.
Welcome to another episode of the Global Latin Factor Podcast, when we talk about Latino everything. Welcome you and all to another episode. Thank you very much if you already subscribed to the channel. You are the best if you haven't heard it today. And I'm just saying this because you're helping us out. But we really do hope that you are enjoying the content that we're putting out as far as the Latinos, about the food. And if you never, for whatever reason, we enlighten your day, we're like, oh, did you know this? Then guess what? Next time you're with friends, like, did you know this, and that? And I'll be like, oh, what? Word? Like, for example, if y'all go out to a Mexican restaurant and y'all order some salsa, you'll be like, did you know that chiles are originally from Mexico and South America? And be like, what? Yeah, you could be that smart. That's right. But don't get carried away now, because, sometimes we feel like we know everything, but we don't really know nothing. And I'm just speaking personally. I'm not. You could be very smart and intelligent, and I believe that you are. But again, thank you very much. If you have not subscribed, go subscribe to the channel. Grab you some of the gear that we have, such as the shirts, different designs that we have, the globallatinfactor.com. And for the ones that have already subscribed, follow, continue to like our stuff, we want to say thank you again, million times over. I won't get tired. Before we get started with our next Latino, or this one's going to be a Latina, we're going to talk about something that I feel is very important. And what would that be? Exercising. The importance of exercising. Now, you'll be like, why you want to lectures about exercising? Okay. It's not. But I just want to bring awareness to you that there's a reason why people, pretty much you heard it all over your entire life, like exercising is important, blah, 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 and this and that, which I am going to tell you the reason why I feel it's important. Like, we might not think that, because of the way that we live nowadays, we might not think that we need such a thing. But we think back, our ancestors, maybe 5 generations back, most of the time they were walking around to places. They were not driving, and putting a lot of physical work and things like that. So, that's pretty much who you are. I mean, you come from those people, and they exercise, and that's what they were used to. And even way before back, even longer than that, thousands of years, walking around trying to, chase an animal down, or find some berries or something to eat. We were consistently moving, always lifting, always doing certain physical activity. That's who we are. That's in our DNA, and that's the reason why I feel it is important to exercise. Not for everything else that, like, TikTok videos, blah, 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 which, don't get me wrong, I appreciate them because they're helpful to me, because sometimes I'll be like, I like that exercise. Let me try it out. And, I get different ideas. But the fact who we are as far as a human being, and the fact that we come from those genes and those genetics and those ancestors that they were always on the move, it makes sense that we are designed for that, to do some movement. I'm not saying to go super hard. But here, it's a life hack. If you have not worked out in a long time, and you've been wanting to, because you always got that thing in the back of your head, right? You always got that, man, like, I want to work out, but I don't know. Okay. You know why? Because probably when you go to the gym, you go a little hard because you're kind of motivated. Something got you there, and you just want to kill it. And you go in super hard, and before you know it, the next day, what happens? You're super sore. Yeah. And then your head and your brain is like, because your brain is designed to protect you. You're like, no, why you want to go over there for? It hurts. Like, right now, we can't even move. Like, sitting on the toilet is a challenge. Why do you want to go back over there? And then before you know it, like, well, let me take this day off, 2 days to recover. And then before you know it, it's the same thing. Your head, your brain playing tricks on you. What's the key? Take it easy. Take it easy for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Show up, live something, get on the treadmill, get on whatever. Just get some movement going. You know, don't be on your phone. Put it away. Put some tunes in if you want to head, and just move. 2 or 3 weeks, maybe into a month, even. Just start up slow, and then before you know it, then you got a little harder, and then before you know it, you'll be going just about as hard as everybody else. But again, everything with moderation. Don't overdo it. I'm not a big person about being gold, so I don't want to look like this or whatever. But I just know that I have to get movement going and everything else, and stretch this and that, and I feel good. I don't want to run out of breath when I'm running up the stairs to somebody's apartment, and that's the reason why I exercise. And everybody knows the reason why you work out. It's to look good naked. It's true. Carlos. People might not believe it, but it's very, very true. That's the reason why we do it. But it is good for you. Speaking seriously, it is really good for you because your ancestors came from there. They have to be moving around, and you're there in nowadays, in modern times. That's who you are. You come from that, so you just have to get some movement going. So that's the reason, and you'll have some benefits, and hopefully it helps you live a longer life. So that's all I have on that part. Now, I am going to be doing a lot of reading because this particular Latina did not have a video on YouTube. Like, not a video. Not one. Not a little clip. Nothing. Not even a mention from anybody that I was able to find. Also, that just random pieces of things that I was able to find. And I think it's sad because she's doing very important work in the world, especially with. Stay tuned so I can let you know what she's working on. You'll be like, no wonder. Okay, so we're going to be talking about Lydia Estela Aguilar-Bryan, born in February 25th. Her birthday's coming up. She's from Mexico City. However, she's a naturalized citizen now, Russian American mother and Mexican father. And her personal quest, when she was 4 years old, she told her family that her mission, that she was going to become a doctor because her mission was to heal others. And what did she do? She went into school and became a doctor. Yes. So Miss Lydia Aguilar became, as far like, did the doctor thing, but she just didn't feel like that's was her thing. So she continued to do different things. A lifelong quest led Lydia to a groundbreaking discovery of how the body regulates insulin. Today, this Mexican American doctor remains in the cutting edge of research for cure of diabetes. Now, there's mainly two more known types of diabetes. There's different types of diabetes, right? But it's mostly just two, which is type 1 and type 2. Now, type 1 usually affects children and younger adults, and type 2 affects more adults. Now, she has about 107 publications, and when she's working in her lab, she imagines a world and a community where there is no diabetes. Like, why is that important? Because it's the numbers. Now, check this out. The need to continue research is clear because there's more than 20.8 million Americans, that's 7% of the population, have diabetes, according to the American Diabetes Association. And Hispanic and Latinos and older Americans are particularly at risk of diabetes. Now, I don't know the current numbers. This is what I got at that time. I don't know if the numbers are still the same. If you're a doctor, if for whatever reason you ran into this podcast and you have more, please give us a comment so I can correct myself on the next episode and make sure that I get it A1 as far as the numbers. But the fact that there's even millions of cases is sad, and it's not needed, and something that we really don't understand. It's really not understandable how diabetes comes to be. it's no. I'm pretty sure there's no secret that a way of eating, our diet, has a lot to do, and the lack of exercise, and has a lot to do with it, because we don't live in the same way that our ancestors live. I know that we don't live the same way, but we don't even know. Everything's speculations. That they are doing research, and the type of work that Lydia is doing, Miss Aguilar-Bryan, is some of the leading charge to understanding diabetes and to finding a cure. Now, worldwide, the number of diabetes tops 180 million. That's the figure from the World Health Organization, estimated to be double by the year of 2030. Now, it is estimated that 2.5 million, that's 10.4%, is Hispanic or Latinos, and the ages range from 20 years old and older have diabetes. Now, Hispanics and also are more likely to be diagnosed with diabetes than non-Hispanic whites and non-Hispanic blacks. So that's the reason why it was shocking to me that this lady did not have any kind, or nobody has interviewed her, nobody has talked to her. I am going to attempt to send a message on some of the social medias that she has, because I don't fully understand this, and hopefully she can better break it down for us as far as what it is. I am going to make an effort if I'm able to connect with her. I'm pretty sure she's doing massive research, but hopefully we can get an understanding of what it is, or what she has continued to work on, and what progress has she made, so that way we don't have to deal with this anymore, because 180 million, and it's supposed to double by 2030. That's a lot of people. That's crazy to me. Anyways, sorry about that pause, but it's just wow. Now, growing up in Mexico City, she witnessed herself, her grandma, and her uncle died of diabetes. And that's one of the reasons why it led her to begin to work and try to figure out what is going on. So as a young doctor interested in genetics, she composed different things and started looking into what's going on. And she left Mexico, the capital, to Starr County, Texas. And she began working. And again, she met there her husband, which is Joseph Bryan, and he was also a researcher there. And when they met, they worked together at Baylor College Medicine. And when they met there shortly after, they became a couple when they got married. And they're the ones that continue to research about this. And the reason why she's passionate is because she's seen it with her own eyes, losing her grandma and her uncle to diabetes, that she's like, you know what, let me see what's going on. So completing her medical school at the Universidad Nacional Autónoma de Mexico, ranked among the proudest moments of Aguilar's life. That was a goal of hers since she was little bitty. And another one is her daughter, Joanna, now 19, a student of Walla Walla University in Washington State. Now, in 1995, while in Baylor, as I mentioned earlier, they began researching. Now, her and Joe pulled off a feat that has stumped researchers the world over. After 10 years of painstaking trial and error, they insulated a protein in the pancreas that controls the process of insulin secretion, and subsequently identified the location of the gene of chromosome 11, which produces insulin. Now, I watched a couple of videos on diabetes because I don't really understand what it does or what happens. So when you eat the food, it's broken down, and it goes to the bloodstream, and it goes to, I believe, to the pancreas, and it creates, insulin, which is sugars. You need sugars for energy, right? And there's something that happens that is just not right. And I'm partly messing all this up. But if you know about it, it's just, first of all, we don't really fully understand, but to the fact that it's something just not 100% there is the reason why we having issues with diabetes. And that's the reason why they continue to research this to the fullest, to make sure that they understand and we can get rid of this once and for all. So big shout out going out to Lydia Estela Aguilar Contreras, doctor, and her work that she continues to do, which again, I looked all over the place for more research about current things in 2020, 2021, 2022. I think the last posting of a publishing of a paper was 2020, I believe. And I hope they're making breakthroughs as far as what needs to happen to fix this and finish it around the world, not only here in the States, but in the world itself, especially with Latinos, that we know how we eat. Let's not lie to ourselves. We know how we get down. And some of the choices we make in our food are not the best choices ever. So, we do have to make better choices. And so that way, because we already are at risk of it. So we already know we are at risk. You could say, anything can kill you and want to die anyways. That's fine. But I heard some horror stories about diabetes. Like I heard chopping limbs, like losing a foot, to another foot, to losing an eye, to losing your eyesight from diabetes, to you know what I mean? It's bad. It really is bad if you do get it. And of course there's if you are identified that you do have, then you really got to take care of yourself for the rest of your life. Or if you find a way to somehow, I don't know if you can totally get rid of it, but if you almost can get rid of it, then at the same time, you always have to be eating correctly, because otherwise, it could be really bad. And it is within our community and the Latinos and Hispanics. So make sure you take care of yourself. And I'd be like, why is it the lag streaming? I don't want to hear it. Well, we just want you to be here and enjoy life. It's a beautiful thing. And you can't enjoy it if you're in pain, always sick and everything. So I hope that you make better decisions today in whatever you're eating. You don't have to starve yourself. It's going to be hard, especially if you're used to eating a lot, to try to cut down. But, it's a mental thing. You can get through it. I'm pretty sure you've gotten through some worse things and you're still here. Okay. Moving on to the next one. So we're now moving on to another Latino. But before we do so, we have to let you know about... We had talked about this before. I want to touch up on it again. So I am not a financial advisor, even though I've done some worked in the mortgage industry. I am not a financial advisor whatsoever. I don't know about certain things. However, I do understand the importance of investing. Now, why? Because it's too easy nowadays. There's literally, with your phone and an app, you can do some investing through different ones. You could do your own research. And by research, looking at the apps, what are the ratings and how are they saying, what are they saying, which one is the more secure. They're not sponsoring the podcast, but personally I use SoFi and Acorn. Acorn pretty much rounds up your money after you spend $5 and they invest it in. You don't have to pick any stocks. They do it for you. The other one, I do buy individual stocks. Now you have to consistently be putting in money and it grows. But let me tell you, from the time that I started putting in money into it till now, I've made quite a bit of money with just buying the right. And it's not about that either, buying the right stocks, because it can be overwhelming. So I like to buy a large group of that holds a lot of stock, which they call them either index funds or ETFs. ETFs hold many companies that if one of them kind of falls off, you can't really tell much. And some of them offer what's called dividends, which dividends is just free money from companies they offer to stockholders for being a stockholder. They give you like free money, like, hey, here you go, thank you for being a part of us and believing in us. And, that's free money that you can take it and cash it, or you can do what I'm doing, which is recurring investing. And all that does is that put those dividends back into buying more stocks by itself without me worrying about it. So that way, even though I'm not putting in money, if I am getting dividends in every quarter or every month, then those dividends are being reinvested and I don't have to always worry about putting in money. Dividends, it depends on how many stocks you hold. It could be a few cents, or it could be, $20-$30 of dividends, and that's pretty good for not doing nothing and just owning and holding either an ETF or an index fund, which ETFs and index funds are just a group of that holds a lot of hundreds of stocks. Sometimes, there's technology ETFs. We could be like Facebook, Twitter, it holds all those kinds of companies. It could be a power ETF, like an energy one, which would be solar, Tesla, and Solar City, and all those, and then different things like that. And when you're buying them, like groups like that, I feel it's safer for you instead of like hoping that you buy a stock and shoots up and then you become super rich. I don't think I see it like that. I'm pretty sure it could happen, but that's not what I think. So I just think it's important to like look into, it doesn't take a lot of money to begin. And the only reason why I got into investing myself is because I have a savings account. I have a few dollars, like a couple $1,000 in there. And at the end of the year, I saw, because it was one of those money market accounts. And when I was done, like a year later of having a few thousand in there, I get my statement back. And you know how much I have made? Guess, Carlos, about 3 cents or 4 cents. Even though they give you money and they sell you and you make very little money on it. It takes a huge amount of money to make a difference. And I'm like, you know what? If I'm just going to have my money sitting here and collect dust, then I'm just going to put it to work and buy these stocks and leave it there. Same concept almost. But the money that I have on the account compared to the money that I have on my investment, the investment has grown a whole lot more. Okay? So, educate yourself. There's a bunch of YouTube videos where they break down how to do this. Maybe you find out that you're really good at maybe doing what they call day trading, which those are the ones that buy in the morning and then by noon they sell, because let's say they bought it in the morning, a stock at like $2, and by noon it's like $30. So they sell before the stock drops, because it literally could drop within like that. So they do that. And then of course they make that money. And then just keep doing that. It's too much work for me. It's not my thing, It's not my thing to do that. So what I do is just buy it, let it do its thing, grow, and then I might take losses, but I might not even notice. But I know at least from what I've seen, it has been growing, So that's my take on investing. I hope you get into Evolve, or at least put your money to work on different things that you wanted to do. Maybe start a business, maybe start different things like that you've been interested doing. Maybe doing a podcast, maybe whatever it is. Just do. No wonder that Nike's slogan hit, because just do it makes a lot of sense after you be making 1,000,001 excuses. Then when you say just do it, then it hits different, All right, so we are moving on to our next Latino. I am pretty sure that you heard of this gentleman before. If you haven't heard of this gentleman before, I almost guarantee that you heard of his work, Alfonso Cuarón Orozco. And you'll be like, who is that? Well, Alfonso Cuarón was born November 28, 1961. Is a Mexican filmmaker, producer, screenwriter, cinematographer, and editor. Cuarón is the first Mexican-born filmmaker to win an Academy Award for the Best Director. He has been nominated for Academy Award 6 different times. Do you know which other person has been nominated and shares this with Walt Disney and George Clooney are the that have been nominated for. Early in his age, he wanted to be an astronaut, but then he didn't really want to do the military thing and different things like that. So, he said, you know what, let me just settle for directing. And that's what he did. Cuarón has received 11 Academy Award nominations, winning 4, including Best Director for Gravity 2000. Have you seen Gravity, Carlos? Oh my goodness, that movie is so good. If you have not seen Gravity, like, that's one of the movies when I was talking to our mariachis, Magellan, when they came, I was like, that was one of the movies that I have seen that I'll be like, I've just been on movies watching and, trying to get to outer space or whatever. I'm like, man, this is one of the movies. I'm like, man, that movie is really good. And another movie that was trending a little while back is called Roma. You remember that movie? Have you seen it? I highly recommend it, Carlos. It's in black and white. It was released in 2018. However, if you watch Roma, it's actually about his life. He's actually narrating his life of what happened when his dad left. And he's telling the story about everything that was going on. There was some riots in Mexico that were known. And that's the reason why the title of the movie is Roma. You know something So films, usually movies are filmed, like, they're not filmed in order. You might film the ending first. You might film the middle first. It just depends. They're different. However, not Roma. Roma was filmed in sequence. And the actors did not get the script previous to them filming. So they filmed everything in sequence, and the actors got the script within that time frame before they were about to film. That's crazy. Why do you think they do it out of sequence, Carlos? I don't get that part. Huh?
Money, production costs.
Really?
Why? Because if you're going to have the same scene twice or 5 times in a movie, why would you leave that place, go somewhere, and then come back?
Okay, so
film it all at once while you're there.
So the reason why they do that, Carlos telling me, is because it's money wise. Like, why do you want to be back and forth, but you can film all kinds of this different scenes that you're gonna need in one place instead of going back and forth and costing you more money? So it's for money reasons, to try to save money. But the fact that he did it, I don't know if maybe he was within the same city and the places that he was gonna film, and that's the reason why. I don't know, but either way, he did it. So the awards again: Gravity in 2013, Roma, Best Film Editing, and that was for Gravity. Best Cinematography for Roma. And another notable that he has as far as movies is A Little Princess in 1995, which is a romantic comedy. Great Expectations back in 1998, which is another type of dramatic film. And then you have the ones that are, if you're a Latino, if you're a Mexicano, then you know that these movies are, you're going to know about them. Is Y Tu Mamá También, back in 2001. I'm pretty sure you know about that movie. And also Harry Potter, Prisoner of Azkaban, 2004, which is a science fiction. And there's another one called 2006, Children of Men, which I kind of seen a couple of trailers about that one, but I haven't seen it. Have you seen that one? Children of Men? So I heard that one's very interesting. If I'm not mistaken, is that women can't have children anymore, and there's very little women that can have children. And I think it's something like that. So don't quote me on that. I would go and check it out. But I want to look at that movie. You know what I appreciate about films, Carlos, is some of the scenes that they shoot, right? So he has very particular shots that he gets. He has this lizard that he freaking follows within the scene. And you can see the little lizard crawling on the ground, very close to it. Like there's a little cameraman following the freaking lizard. Huh? Nah, that one's not. Bro, it's black and white. And I'm just saying, no. Okay, the lizard was not. I know what you're saying, but look at the movie and tell me if it was animated. I don't think it was CGI. I feel like the actual lizard was being filmed, and it was the real lizard. And the angle itself would be like, what the fudge? It's good. After you shoot with your significant other, check out Roma. It's on Netflix, I believe it's still, and you'll enjoy it. So yeah. So as sometimes his mother will go with friends, and then he will go to the movies and check out a movie. And fun fact, before we stop talking about Mr. Cuarón, that his first feature-length film was called Solo con tu pareja. And fun fact, he directed the third Harry Potter film without having to read any of the books. So Harry Potter people are going to be highly upset that the gentleman did not read the books, even though he directed Harry Potter number 3. What do you think about that? They are the Harry Potter people that love to watch. They be on it, bro. But everybody always says the same thing, right? That the movie is not like the book. But it's never going to be like that. Why? Because we are imagining everything that's happening within the book. It is. Why?
Sometimes it just doesn't fit the narrative that they want, or sometimes things just don't look good in movies as they would when you see it.
As you reading on the book, it wouldn't look as good on film. Is that what you're saying? Maybe so, but I think for me, I feel like it's because they say imagination is super important, right? And for that same reason, is like the things that you can create in your head and your dreams as you're having, it's really difficult to put in like with CGI, with like to actually create something that's crazy that you are able to imagine that it is like. I just feel that's the reason. Maybe not. Maybe Carter's right. He's the one with the camera, so he might know more than I. Alrighty, so this was the Global Latin Factor podcast. If you have a tip, or if you're done or recommend a video about investing, then leave us a comment and let us know. Or if you have a stock that you felt has worked for you, leave us a comment and let us know which is the one that you have that you feel has been beneficial, that you understand that is longer term, and that somebody should check it out. Also, if you have watched one of these movies, which is Gravity, Roma, or any of the ones that Cuarón has made, let us know which one was your favorite. And if you feel that the lizard from Roma was CGI, like Carlos saying, I felt like it was a real lizard, please leave us a comment and let us know wherever you're listening, whether it's on YouTube. And we do have a YouTube if you're listening on video on Spotify or any of the audio ones. If you want to, for whatever reason, find out what I look like. Not Carlos. Carlos behind the cameras. But you can go check it out and let us know what you think. So again, we appreciate it very much. Continue to subscribing, growing our numbers. Go visit the website www.thegloballatinfactor.com. Super, very simple website to maneuver through. Everything's there about the podcast. Hit the shop button and you'll see everything. The shirts are direct connected to a Amazon, to where they will be able to print and send it to you. So if you have an Amazon account, you're set. The prices are very, very low for the quality that we have, but it's a great print. So we appreciate it. Subscribe one more time. And we do appreciate the ones that are continuing to support and listen. We are watching you, and we'll continue to comment and reply to your comments while we are able to, but we really do appreciate you. And again, this was another episode of the Global Latin Factor podcast. Remember, we are just like you. We are the spice in this melting pot that it is the world. Until next time.
Todos en este